Evening councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, and to those listening at home, please be seated while Councillor Islam delivers the blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, our Creator and Sustainer, we thank you for guiding us and caring for us. As we gather here this evening to serve our community, grant us wisdom, compassion, and fairness in our decisions. May our work reflect integrity and a true commitment to the people we represent. Give us humility to listen, courage to act justly, and strength to work together. May our efforts bring peace, justice, and prosperity to the city of Gosnells and its residents.
Thank you. Before we begin, on behalf of the City of Gosnells Council, I will acknowledge that we are meeting on the Whadjuk Noongar land, the traditional owners, and we pay our respects to their elders, both past and present. It is now 7 o'clock and I declare the meeting open. There are no announcement of visitors, and I'll just read the disclaimer. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items in which they may have an interest until such times they've seen a copy of the minutes of the meeting or have been advised in writing by city staff. Please note all council meetings are digitally recorded and live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, except for confidential agenda items, during which time the live stream will be temporarily suspended. A record of attendance. Everybody's here. That's great. Very good. Are there any disclosures of interest, councillors? No disclosures of interest. Announcements by the presiding member, just a couple. Just wanted to thank the councillors and the councillor candidates and the candidates for all coming to the Austria Club on Friday night for the candidate meet and greet, and also to thank the Austria Club for allowing that to happen there. So I think it was well received by the candidates and some of the community, and I think it went well, and maybe the city will host one next time. Also, just to let councillors know that I was at the Welga Convention Conference today, and there was a pre-recorded message from the Minister for Local Government, the Honourable Hannah Beasley, just to let everyone know that there was within her speech, she talked about how she didn't say we were going to be, but in all likelihood we'd be going to an all-in, all-out election. And within that speech, she didn't talk for any further discussion on it, she just mentioned it. But following up for that, she did talk about wanting a discussion on whether we have compulsory voting or not. So that's something to probably come out soon, I would think. So I just wanted to share that with you. So that's all for me. Reports of delegates. Are there any? Councillor Dewhurst.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. I want to report that last night we went down to Sutherland's Oval for the dog park. And overwhelmingly, the advice to councillors and to staff was the fact is they don't want it there because it's right up against the Huntingdon Junior Footy Club. It's near a roundabout. It's got a bus stop, nowhere to park. Doesn't tick any boxes whatsoever. The community did have some really good conversations with the Deputy Mayor and the other councillors, Councillor Betts and Councillor Good was down there, and Councillor Adams is there, and also Councillor Dalton there. They're looking at perhaps we could. They're saying more or less sports and dogs don't mix. So I think we've all hopefully taken that on board, and it will be something for Martin that I'm sure he's taken on board, and some good ideas come out of alternative parks in the area. Though I don't want to make it very clear, I understand why the consultation had to happen. It was because there was 52, when we put it out for people to make comment on it, it was 52 people were against it and 47 were for it. So we had to put something up in regards to that, but the community is certainly outspoken there now. Also, the second event I went to was the Safe Communities Now event that we attended 2 weeks ago, and that was a very well attended event. I thought we had about 100 odd people there, though the rangers do tell us that they counted 125 people there over for the day. It's the first one. There's probably a lot more to come with the Safe Communities Now events. February, they're looking at hopefully doing it over at Harmony Fields. And just the two other events that they attended. Actually, no, I won't worry about talking about those ones there, but just want to say the community out there has been engaged, and it's really good to see the other fellow councillors and the Deputy Mayor out there as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Are there any other reports from delegates? Councillor Good, thank you.
Mayor Lyons and fellow councillors, mine's about the Metropolitan Outer Development Assessment Panels. 2 reports to do. Councillor Baines and myself were on the one on the 10th of the 9th, and this one, I really got to emphasise, was impressive. That's one that hit the newspapers, you may recall, several, probably weeks, maybe even a month or 2 ago, the $415 million Canberra data centre. It was 4 warehouses, data storage, and the provision for a future electrical substation. So to put that in perspective, $415 million development, I thought if I ever got to be involved in something worth $50 million would be amazing. So $415 million, nearly $500 million. Kelvin Road, Tonkin Highway, basically that section, just off Kenwick Road there on the up Kelvin to the northeast of that. Brilliant site. The actual agenda was put on the site, our site, plus also the Department of Planning, so you can actually have a good close look. What I particularly loved was the fact that what they've done with it in terms of some unique qualities, water in particular, and the use of power. So this data storage would be fantastic for the city of Gosnells. They reckon it should employ about 110 people, and it should not impact the traffic flow much at all. So I was very impressed. So Councillor Baines and I were very supportive of that. Unanimously passed by the 5 of us. So that's Mooksy Precinct 1, Canberra Data Centre. And then the second one, which is just last week on the 18th, again, Councillor Baines and I were for the Bunnings Maddington site. That's the $20 million. Now that was the one which, would you believe, was approved over 5 years ago. And I think I've been on development assessment panels probably 7 or 8 years. I've lost track of when, but this particular site is the Bunnings Maddington on the corner of Austin Ave and Albany Highway, which, interestingly enough, is the boundary for Maddington that side. Here, just outside of our building, that's the edge of the boundary for Maddington this side, if you like, the south versus north. But we've approved it. What is also interesting there is the fact it's Albany Highway, Gosnells Road West, this intersection, and as we all know, there's going to be future traffic lights on Pritchard, or should I say Pitchford. The problem I get with that one, of course, is traffic flow, and I'm mindful of that. But we did all unanimously approve it, and hopefully Bunnings, after 5 years of it not happening, hopefully will proceed. But the main roads have got to make sure they get the traffic flow right, because that is a difficult intersection, as we all know. That's the Metropolitan Outer Development Assessment Panel updates.
Thank you, Councillor Good. Are there any other reports from delegates? No, thank you. We now move on to question times for the public and the receiving of public statements. I believe there's no public statements, I don't think, so just the one resident asking questions, and that is Mr. Leon Walker, if you'd like to come forward. Thank you. Thank you for your question. I'll get Mr. Glover, the Director for Infrastructure, to answer your question. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the community can be rest assured we will only plant trees where they're not going to cause issues with sightlines from intersections and accesses onto Austin Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay, next question.
When can I expect a reply to my question taken on notice by the Mayor
At the May 27 OCM.
I have to take that one on notice. I'm so sorry, Mr. Walker. We do apologise for the delay in that, but we'll have something sent out to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. There are no public statements, so we'll move on to confirmation of the minutes. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Islam to move that and Councillor Lloyd to second that. Are there any questions on the minutes, councillors? No, if you'd like to cast your vote, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. We'll move on to the receiving of petitions and presentations. Are there any? Councillor Lloyd, thank you.
I have a petition here from Lara Warwick. The elected petition stated ceasing the use of herbicides for weed control. There were extensive reasons included. I'm just going to summarise them here. Number one, harm to the soil health and microorganisms. Number two, toxicity to bees and other pollinators. 3, adverse effects on aquatic life. 4, risk to children's health. 5, reduced biodiversity and ecosystem function. And 6, promotion of herbicide resistance. So I'd like to ask this petition to be received and a report prepared, please.
Seeking a seconder, Councillor Deputy Mayor Serena Williamson, happy to second that. Councillors, if you could cast your vote, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Your presentation as well, Councillor, thank you.
Get my piece of paper open. Tonight I actually want to acknowledge the bravery of a selfless local resident, Nihad Barik. Earlier this week, another resident, Joan Rojas, was attacked by 2 loose dogs while walking home from school drop-off. Without hesitation, Nihad stopped his car, got out to help and urged Joan into his vehicle. She suffered a painful bite to the leg, but thanks to his quick actions, the situation didn't become far worse. Nihad then drove Joan to Armidale Hospital, where he waited with her until her husband arrived. And this was not just kindness, I believe he showed true courage. But what makes this act even more extraordinary is Nihad's own journey. He came to Australia as a refugee from Bosnia, carrying permanent injuries from the war. And despite severe leg injuries and only two fingers on his left hand, he didn't think twice about putting himself at risk for someone else. So too often stories of heroism go unnoticed in our city, and tonight I want to make sure that this one doesn't. On behalf of our community, thank you to Nihad for your courage, and your compassion can be an inspiration to us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lloyd, and I too actually acknowledge the owner of those dogs that came forward and gave the dogs up to the rangers for a future decision. I was very brave of her to do that publicly, so well done to her. Moving on, any other presentations from anyone? Thank you. Applications for leave of absence. Are there any? No, thank you. Questions on which due notice has been given, and Councillor Deputy Mayor Serena Williamson has got questions regarding the request to unlock the gate at Sutherland's Park F. Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Question 1 is, could the City please unlock the gate to the Reserve F car park to enable the wider community to access and use of the upgraded playground and picnic area alongside Reserve F?
Thank you. The Director for Infrastructure, Mr Martin Glover, will respond.
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes we can.
Thank you. Your next question, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is, if the answer is yes, which it is, when can the community expect this request to be actioned?
Thank you. Mr Glover.
Through you, Madam Mayor, we've instructed contractors Ausguards to proceed with this additional service from tomorrow.
Thank you, and you probably don't need to ask question 3 then. Thank you for that. There are no items to bring forward, so we'll move on to reports. So 13.2.1, the development application for the amendment for the place of worship at 269 Lot 41 Wharton Road, Canning Vale. Councillor Dewhurst to move that, and a seconder, Councillor Islam, to second that. Councillor Dewhurst, would you like to speak to this item? Thank you. Councillor Islam, would anybody else like to speak to this item? Did you want to close on the item? No? Councillors, if you cast your vote, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. You may leave or you may stay with us if you like, that is fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 13.2.2, the budget variation for Maddington Road Precincts A and B, Development Contribution Plan Reimbursement. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Singh to move this and Councillor Dalton to second this. Councillor Singh, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Dalton? No, would anybody else like to speak to this item? Okay, councillors, if you please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Moving on to item 13.3.1, the Tiger Circle Reserve redevelopment. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Betts to move this, Councillor Islam to second this. Councillor Betts, would you like to speak to this item? No. Councillor Islam? Councillor, Deputy Mayor Councillor Williamson, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move an amendment to the motion which reads that the staff recommendation be amended to read 1, that consultation is conducted within a 200-metre radius of the South Parkland node of Tiger Circle Reserve, seeking feedback on the installation of a pickleball court at the site. 2, that the barbecue facility not be installed at Elderham Park, with all funding allocated to improve Elderham Park being used to provide nature play elements for the following reason. Consultation on what is to be installed at Tiger Circle Reserve should be more focused both in terms of what is proposed to be installed and the radius of the consultation. Providing residents with a menu of options for active sporting elements would likely lead to a host of different opinions that will be very difficult to manage. It will also certainly put elected members in a difficult position, as we will not be able to satisfy all requests. If consultation supports the installation of a pickleball court, a court could be installed. If this option is not supported, consultation could occur on an alternative option. In relation to the radius for consultation, 400 metres would extend from Tiger Circle Reserve beyond Elderham Park and most of Castlewood Parkway Reserve. The intention of providing new facilities at Tiger Circle Reserve is to cater for the local community rather than to serve as an attraction for the broader area. As such, the consultation radius should be reduced from 400 to 200 metres. In terms of a barbecue at Elderham Park, the petition that has led to the proposals to improve both Elderham Park and Tiger Circle Reserve originally requested the installation of a barbecue at Tiger Circle Reserve. The installation of a barbecue at Tiger Circle Reserve as proposed will satisfy this request, and it is not necessary to also provide a barbecue at Elderham Park. Elderham Park is less than 200 metres from Tiger Circle Reserve, and it is not necessary to duplicate facilities at sites located so close together. Developing nature play at Elderham Park along with an active sporting element and barbecue facility at Tiger Circle Reserve will provide the local area with a mix of facilities and alternatives to cater for different interests.
Thank you. Seeking a seconder, Councillor McDonald to second that. Would you like to speak further on that, Deputy Mayor?
Yes, I'll just briefly speak on this. We've had this come back with a couple different amendments. So Council had just supported the split of the funds onto the two sites. So this amendment now is really just to simplify the consultation process rather than giving the community a lot of different options. It's listening to what the community has fed back to us already and just go out on that option and then see where we land with that. So it's to make the process simpler. So I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor McDonald, would you like to speak to that item as a seconder? Would anybody else like to speak to the amendment? Did you need to close, Councillor? If you would like to all cast your vote on the amendment, please. Thank you. That has been carried. We now put the amendment back with the original item. Is there any further debate on the original item that includes the amendment? No? Councillors, if you'd like to cast your vote, thank you. Thank you, that has been carried. Now move on to item 13.3.2, the review of fees and charges to hire community spaces. Councillor Betts to move that and a seconder. Councillor Baines to second that. Councillor Betts, would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you. Madam Mayor, just like to speak in support of the staff recommendation. I think the report makes it very clear that social functions which involve, or they call them social functions, they involve serving of meals or significant food, that requires more clean up, etc., and also more cost to the city in terms of waste disposal, etc. And so the fact that in the past the social functions were for not-for-profits were charged at the full rate, this proposes a 25% discount for the not-for-profits. I think is a good kind of middle-of-the-road approach, and I think it's worthy of support. It's not going to cost the city too much, some $18,000. I think that's manageable, and just gives a little bit of acknowledgement to the fact that the not-for-profits do make a significant contribution to the well-being of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Sorry, who seconded that? Did you want to speak to that, Councillor Baines? Would anybody else like to speak to this item? Councillor Islam, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I put my amendment, can I just ask some questions, please? First question is, prior to this report, was the council aware that not-for-profit charities, they were not getting discount when the food was served for their events?
I wasn't aware, so I guess I, as the spokesperson for the council, could assume that some were aware and maybe some weren't, so.
All right, thank you. Next question I have is, why do we have so many fees and charges types? So standards, not-for-profit rate, under 18, over 55, social hire, cleaning up fees. Can someone explain why do we have various types of fees and charges?
Thank you, and Mr Glover, the Director for Infrastructure, will respond to you on that. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor, over the years, Council has looked at the hire of its facilities across the board and has found that there have been particular groups that they wish to support to have some form of discount for their hire fees, and as a consequence the fees and charges have changed over time, and no doubt will continue to change as we move forward.
Thank you, and your...
Yeah, sorry, another question that I have is, do we review and compare our fees and charges with our neighbouring cities? The reason I'm asking is City of Armidale and City of Canning, they do have only three types of fees and charges: standard, not-for-profit, and social club. Why are we different? Do we really review and our fees and charges and types with our neighbouring neighbours and with our neighbouring councils?
Yeah, thank you. I assume it's going to be a historic factor where different things have come in at different times, but if there's anything more that you'd wanted to add to that, Director Glover?
Through you, Madam Mayor, and in answer to the first part of that question, we do. We always look at what is happening with our neighbouring local governments, but it has been, I think the number of fees and charges has been as a consequence of councils of the past's desire to facilitate things happening within our community facilities.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, I, Councillor Saiful Islam, propose the following, that the staff recommendation be amended to read, number 1, that incorporated not-for-profit groups be charged the incorporated/not-for-profit groups fees for the use of our city facilities. Number 2, that the council requests the CEO to prepare a report, see if we can provide one free hall hire for up to 6 hours for our local charities to support for the work they do, for the following reasons. The city currently offers discounted hire fees for incorporated not-for-profit groups. However, these discounts are not applied when they serve food at their events. Instead, they are charged at a much higher rate, social function higher rate, which most of the groups can't afford. And I've received a number of complaints from the community groups. And in fact, there is no definition of social function in our fees and charges. So I'm not sure where this has come from. Some of the elected members and community groups that I have spoken to reasonably assume that this rate applies to only private events such as wedding or birthday parties, not to not-for-profit events like topic presentations or local club quiz nights or fundraising dinners for our communities. Now, this can be easily fixed without creating another type of fees now, which staff proposing. The existing not-for-profit groups rate should apply to all events held by not-for-profit groups, regardless of type. This change could easily be implemented immediately without any further work or will not require any advertising based on the advice I received from our staff. Our neighboring councils such as City of Canning and Armidale, as I said earlier, is already applied discounted rates for not-for-profit profit across all events, which encourages local groups to hire their venues instead of ours. While this may slightly reduce our revenue for the city, I strongly believe the city facilities exist primarily for community benefits. Ensuring fair, affordable access to our facilities for not-for-profit groups should be our first priority. And as part of my second amendment, I would also like to ask the CEO to prepare a report on this, see if we are able to provide one free events to our local charities, and I request everyone for support. Thank you.
Councillor Islam, good seconder. Councillor Lloyd, would you like to speak further on that, Councillor Islam?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to highlight a bit on the impact it has. So I'm looking at City of Canning. Their largest hall is up to 300 square meters. The fees, standard fees, $55.50. Discounted fees, $30. This is the largest hall. They charge $30 an hour. Now, if I compare with our largest, for example, Mills Park, $122 an hour we charge for our fees because they serve food. So all the events that we go to, most of the events, one of the things that unites us is food. So we go to local charities, local fundraising dinners, they provide food. And that's all that unites us, one of the things that unites us. So we should not discourage our community groups to provide food to their community groups. So I strongly encourage everyone to support my amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Islam. Councillor Lloyd, would you like to speak as a seconder? Okay, would anybody else like to speak to the amendment? Councillor Dewhurst, then Councillor Betts. Thank you.
I'm quite torn, thanks Madam Mayor, I'm quite torn with this. I don't really fully support number one, but I'll support number two on his amendments there, so I'm a bit torn here. The concerns me is that when people get offered discounts for having halls and stuff like that, most of the people do the right thing by it, but some people actually abuse it. So some people here would hire it for a non-for-profit, and they'll run a wedding or they'll run a children's school, a birthday party or something out of that, and that's not fair because it creates mess, and it creates cost to the rest of the residents of that. They can get a discounted price. So, if the amendment could be split into one and two, I don't know if you could do that. I'd certainly support number two for the report to come back because I think that is an absolute a wonderful idea that he has there in regards to it. But and I'm part of some non-profits as well, but. You know, I'd like to see one get through, but unfortunately, people out there do the wrong thing. So I'm not sure if that can be split up out of one and two, or leave it as it is. And I seek your advice on that.
My advice. Councillor Dewhurst, you would have to put an amendment of your own up after this gets up, or you could ask Councillor Islam if he'd be willing to change his. We could deal them at 1 and 2 at a time with the mover and the second to be happy with that solution? Or you want them moved together, or are you happy to move them
whatever
as
is
one
easier,
item?
Whatever is easier.
Okay, well, we'll move them as 1 and 2. The second are happy with that? Yep, okay. So then we'll carry on the debate on number 1 then. No? We'll carry on the debate on both of them and then we'll do the, yeah.
1 and 2.
Okay. Councillor Betts, thank you.
Madam Mayor, I appreciate Councillor Islam's intent, and the not-for-profit sector is a really important part of our community and they do a great job, and I'm certainly involved in more not-for-profit organisations my dear wife wants me to be involved in because they do take up a lot of time. But I believe that if a incorporated not-for-profit group just simply has a meeting with a bit of tea and coffee, that attracts the discounted rate already. But if we end up having a meal which involves use of the kitchen, a lot more rubbish disposal, that costs the city money, and I think that that somehow needs to be accommodated. So I don't feel comfortable with the same fee being applied for those where you have meals, unless there is some means of the deposit that's paid, the security deposit, somehow being debited for the waste disposal and extra costs that the city has, because I don't think that the ratepayer should pick that up. And I can't support the second part of the amendment because the difficulty is about, he says here, for each incorporated, it's like one free hall hire for up to 6 hours per financial year for each incorporated not-for-profit group based within the city of Gosnells. What does it mean to be based in the city of Gosnells? Most charities don't just exist in Gosnells. People come from all over the region, and if the city of Gosnells gives free hire, I'm going to suggest to some of the charities I'm involved in to rent a post office box in Gosnells, because that way we can get a free hire. So I really think that's not a practical or feasible way of doing it. Plus, there are so many not-for-profit groups. If everybody were to get a freebie, it would certainly encourage them to make a booking and would put a lot more pressure on our existing facilities, which are already under pressure. Like if you try and hire the Amherst Hall, for example, there's a long period before you can actually get in most of the time. So I really don't think it's a workable thing, number two. So I certainly won't be supporting the second part, and I'm not really comfortable with the first one either. Thank you.
Councillor Betts, is anybody speaking in support of the amendment? Councillor Dewhurst? Yes, thank you. You can ask a question, thank you.
I honestly think that
Question?
Councillor,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, I think Councillor Islam is actually onto something here, and I would ask that we actually defer this, because I'm coming through so many ideas of what we can do here. I'd really like for us to have a good conversation about it, or whoever's in after the for the next workshop. There's just, I really value our non-profits. We all value our non-profits, we should say that.
Sorry, Councillor Dewhurst, can I just ask the CEO something? Has Councillor Dewhurst hasn't spoken to this amendment? Yeah.
The question
So
is,
you can't move deferral because you've already spoken to it, Councillor. Yeah. Yes.
I'll continue my question.
Your question, yes.
And then because it's because I'm valuing Councillor Islam's idea, perhaps we could, you know, if someone thinks that we need to have a look at this in another way, maybe another councillor could defer it, bring a deferral up.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. I might just speak to this item as well. And I do congratulate Councillor Islam for bringing this up and for identifying that there was an issue with the food issue. But what I see is that the staff have identified a solution for it. So I'm actually happy to follow the staff's recommendation on this. I think it's a good solution, 25% discount for not-for-profits, whilst not impacting too much on our revenue. And I also would say that with the room hire, is that we often give out free room hire with our grants that we give out to the community. So there is a way for not-for-profit groups to get access to free room hire. So I won't be supporting Councillor Islam's amendment at this time. So would anybody else have their hand up to speak on this? Councillor Good, thank you. I should ask if you're speaking for or against, Councillor Good.
Against.
Is there anybody speaking for the amendment? No, Councillor Good, you can speak against, sorry. I'm so glad your back's improved.
Good exercise, supposedly. Basically, there's a song by Meatloaf called "You Took the Words Right Out of My Mouth," And that very last comment was, you took the words right out of my mouth, indeed. No, I'm against the amendment, but I guess I'm also appreciative of Councillor Islam's point of view. But Councillor Betts has actually identified a number of key points, one in which you've said yourself, that the staff recommendation is there. I have done numerous not-for-profit event fundraisings throughout many locations, whether it be Lions, Rotary and a number of others. I've done events at different parts of the metropolitan area. So every council's got different rules and regulations. I think our rules actually are quite okay, but I get the intent of the original motion. So whilst I can appreciate Councillor Islam's views in terms of those not-for-profits, there are, as you've said, those grants which are available. So I'm against that. Other than that, if I was felt the urge, I would do the procedural motion to defer, but I'm not. I think I'll just go on this, but I'm against this particular amendment, but I appreciate his point of view. Thank you.
Good. Would anybody else like to speak on the amendment? Councillor Islam, if you'd like to close on the amendment, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just as I said earlier, I think we are making it unnecessarily complicated now, adding another layer of rate and charges there, 25% discount. Can I ask a question now to all these elected members to think about it? Do we think that it only costs our city? How about the other cities? They also provide, discounted rates to not-for-profits. They don't charge social higher rate to not-for-profit groups. And a couple of other points that raised, particularly Councillor Abbas, about the address. It's very easy to pick. If you look at SCNC, enter the ABN or SCN, look at the address. Only one address you'll find, register address, that's it. And Councillor Glengoris asked about the security, I guess there's a bond there, up to $1,000. If we are concerned if not-for-profit entities, they're booked for something, but they have used it for something else, surely we can deduct the money from the bond. So I don't see any issues with this. But I guess, look, at the end of the day, I guess it's the council to decide what is good for the city. But can I just put it there like this? So if I compare again with the largest hall that City of Kenny has, which they're charging, I think about $25, $30 an hour. With our 25% discount, we'll be charging $91 an hour. Just compare. Next council, City of Kenny, not too far away. City of Gosnells, we are charging $91 an hour for our not-for-profit groups. So think about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Swain. Councillors could please cast their vote on the amendment. Oh, I'm going to do 1 and 2. If councillors could, cast your vote on number 1 of the amendment. Thank you. Thank you for that, Mr. CEO. Thank you, Councillor Islam. That amendment number 1 has been lost. Number 2. Sorry? Someone hasn't voted? That's all good. Everyone has voted now, and the number 1 of the amendment has been lost. Number 2, councillors, if you cast your vote on number 2 as well. Thank you. Thank you. That has been lost as well. We now go back to the original item. Is there any further debate on the original item? I do just have something quickly to add to the original item, in that this is our position today, and there is nothing to stop this council from discussing this further or tidying this up when we get closer to budget time on how we might like it to be a bit more simplified. So this isn't the end. It can still be discussed further down the track. So, because there are a lot of bits and pieces in it, so yes, it can be discussed further down the track. Councillor Lloyd.
Ask then, in just based on what you've just said then, if we can have a procedural motion to defer, because what I don't see is why we're passing something tonight that's clearly multiple people around the table have said that there's more nuance to, that maybe we should defer it and consider it at another time, rather than passing something now and feeling like we're not listening to our fellow councillor.
I can't respond to that. There is nothing stopping someone deferring it, but if we pass this now, we're putting this into action straight away for some discount. If we defer it, we're waiting until it's dealt with potentially 3 months down the track, 4 months down the track, I don't know.
Can I then ask another question and request that this comes back to the very next workshop that we have to discuss?
Yeah, we're not holding workshops until the new councils.
Oh, that's what I mean, like the very first one when we come back.
Probably a big thing for some new councillors to
Yeah.
get involved in, but we can certainly do that.
We can certainly have councillor email to ask to have a further discussion on this, or as in what you've just done, yes. But you're not moving to defer the motion though, are you? Or are you? She's asked questions.
Yeah,
She hasn't spoken on it, have you?
No, I haven't. I
original
reserved
item?
myself to the end for this reason, so that I could watch and listen and decide. Yeah, I would like to ask for a deferral, please.
And you're seeking a seconder?
Seeking a seconder, please, yes. No?
Seeking a seconder to defer the item?
No.
No seconder for the deferral?
Fine.
That's okay. Would you like to speak to the item? No. Would anybody else like to speak to the item? No? Councillors, if you could please cast your vote on the original item. Thank you, that has been carried. We'll now move on to 13.5.1, the financial activity statement. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Good to move this, Councillor Singh to second this. Councillor Good, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Singh, would anybody else like to speak to this item? No. Councillors, if you please cast your vote. Somebody hasn't voted. Now they have, thank you. That has been carried. Now move on to item 13.5.2, the payment listing. Can I get a mover? Councillor Deputy Mayor Williamson and Councillor McDonald to second. Is there any questions on this item, councillors? If you would like to cast your vote, please. Thank you, that has been carried. Now move on to item 13.5.3, the tender for 2025 Microsoft software licensing. Councillor Dewhurst to move that and a seconder. Councillor Adams to second that. Councillor Dewhurst, would you like to, Councillor Adams? Would anybody else like to speak to this item? No. Councillors, if you please cast your vote. Thank you, that has been carried. Move on to item 14, which motions of which previous notice has been given, and item 14.1, which is a request for report on rate payment options. Deputy Mayor Councillor Williamson will move this, thank you. And a second, Councillor Dewhurst, thank you. Councillor Williamson, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the proposed motion reads that Council requests the CEO to prepare a report detailing all rates payment options and their associated costs, including Australia Post bill pay service, for consideration by Council in February 2026. Can I go on to do comment now? I've already got a seconder. Yep. In the current year, the city has not offered Australia Post bill pay service for the payment of rates. This was due to the city's contract with Australia Post expiring and Australia Post proposing a significant increase in the cost of this service. This was despite the post bill pay option already being the most expensive payment option. Elected members have received negative feedback about the discontinuation of the post bill pay service, particularly from older residents who are less comfortable making online payments. Council should review the payment options offered by the city to ensure the rationale for options provided is appropriate and reflective of community expectations. So I think to add, can I talk to the item? Yep. So I'll talk to the item now. When we found out about the changes to Australia Post, we had a very short time frame to sort of work out what the best way forward was. I think now that that option, it became very, very expensive and cost prohibitive. So we've tested that, and what we've had is I have personally received a lot of feedback, and I'm sure other councillors have as well, that there's circumstances it's becoming a barrier for people to keep their independence and be able to pay their bills independently. It's become a barrier for elderly, it's become a barrier for people with disability, and it's also a problem for people who like to manage cash payments. So I actually sat in reception, and the number of people coming in with cash was quite significant. So I think one of the things is when it comes to next year's budget, it would be wise to look at reintroducing that and what that would cost and how we could actually incorporate it. So I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
I'd like to thank the Deputy Mayor for bringing this up, because it is one of the biggest complaints moving around the community is people had to come into the city here and with lots of cash and all that. I mean, I even made the comment to a few of them, they could have paid me and I'll sort it out for them, but they weren't very keen on that, I'll tell you. But look, seriously, it's the people that I spoke to out the front of the office here, spoke to a couple in their 80s. The daughter had to bring them down, and you know, by the time they got out of the car and walked up there, I'm sure we're going to put a sign up to say, you know, out for lunch. You know, so it is a hassle for them. They were certainly battling to get in here, and they certainly let me know they weren't very happy about it. So, I just saw it just saying people that we're looking to it next year, but this has actually been cemented now. So I want to thank the Deputy Mayor for actually bringing that up. Maybe there are other things that we could look at as well, because the other points that were raised is that there are some people with severe disabilities in their homes who don't get NDIS, who can get out to the city, or even some to the post office to actually pay it. Is there a service that we could offer, you know, or I don't know, let's just look outside the box, not traditionally and generally what we normally do. So, so thanks very much. I ask councillors to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Would anybody else like to speak to this motion? Thank you, Councillor Good.
Same comments along the lines of Councillor Dewhurst, but I have a couple of questions first. Perhaps the Director of Business Services may be able to answer them. What actually is the cost now of the bill pay service? Like, how much has it significantly gone up? Because the reason I asked the question is, too, was, matter of fact, it was earlier this month where in here to do the council re-elections, and even the returning officer had to stand up in line with all the candidates, and there would have been 20 people in the queue on several occasions that I was here, significantly elderly people, people with disabilities trying to get served, and your staff doing a great job, and 4 of them are on, but took a long time.
I'll get an answer for you.
So yeah, if you get I'd love to know the answer first.
Thank you, Mr. Bradbrook.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The cost varies because there's a fixed fee component, and then there's a charge based on how much is being paid, so a percentage. So it tended to be for a rate payment around $14 to $20 per transaction to pay at Australia Post. That was under our previous contract, and Australia Post was proposing to increase that fee by 40%.
Thank you very much. I do actually support the motion. Again, like Councillor Dewhurst, praise you for bringing the motion to the attention for the fact of to prepare a report detailing all rate payment options. I think it's a very good idea, because the other side of the coin is not only do people are waiting, queuing up to pay, and I've never seen a queue this long ever, but it's one of what our staff costs are when you've got people there and we're serving frenetically fast, but just difficult. So I support the motion, and here's hoping to get a good solution for our ratepayers, because not everybody actually has a computer and has the internet. I use BPay, but the bill pay service, think, okay, it's one being cut out. Well, they're all used to it. Be interesting to see what the cost situation works out. So I'm looking forward to it if it gets passed.
Thank you, Councillor Good. Would anybody else like to speak to this motion? Otherwise, Councillor Islam, thank you.
I've got a question if I can ask. So, can our residents come to the city and then pay by cash?
Yes.
Yes. Now, next question that I have, we've got other facilities like our libraries, leisure complex as well. Where do they pay for the services by cash in there?
At libraries, they have to pay here or online.
No, I'm just saying not the rates. any payment to the city, any other payments for the services they receive from the libraries.
Just for library fines, you know.
Library fines.
You know, when
Library fines, library fees, yeah. So I guess the question that I wanted to ask is, can the resident actually pay cash in our local libraries? Is there anything preventing us to receive their payment in our libraries?
Are you
where we've got
talking
the
about for
infrastructure
rates
ready?
or for fines? For rates?
Any payments,
anything.
any payment they pay to the
Yes,
city.
this question
That's
has
the
been
question.
asked before, but Mr Bradbrook will.
All right, thank
yes,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, it's possible, but it comes with a whole host of risks and controls that we would then need to implement in terms of cash handling and security. So you might well find that if we were to try and allow payments at libraries, it would probably be a cheaper option to go back to the Australia Post service. But I guess they are things that can be detailed in the report when we look at the costs and how it could be managed.
Thank you. Have you finished? Sorry, Councillor Slam. Councillor Betts.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I haven't actually had anybody personally talk to me, but I have had comments on my Facebook page from people complaining about not being able to use the Australia Post payment. And I put it to them that given they were techno-savvy enough to put a comment on my Facebook page complaining about it, I believe they're techno-savvy enough to use internet banking or BPay service. And I haven't had a response back on that yet from anybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. I just want to add comment. I'm happy to support the motion, but I just want to point out that the council as a whole has instructed the staff to look at costs wherever you can. And this was a huge cost saving. I think it was about $80,000 we anticipated it would be, which is a significant amount. So happy to support your motion on this, but we also need to be mindful that we do need to look for ways to have those costs saved. And to me, it seems quite exorbitant to be charged $35 around there for one fee to pay your. Is that per instalment or is that for a whole rate? Would that be? Sorry, I'll lead that into a question. Because you said $20 with a 40% increase. I'm thinking around 35.
Madam Mayor, it's per transaction. So if someone chooses to pay their rates by instalments with Australia Post, we pay that every
4
time.
times.
The cost was $14 to $20 for a rates notice. So it would, and as I said, Australia Post was proposing to put the fee up by 40%. So it was going to take our cost to the city to somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000 per annum to offer that service.
Yeah, and I think that's why we decided to abolish it. So maybe we can look at doing some other things. Maybe it's 3 weekends when the rates first come out in the local shop or something. We can let the staff be a bit more ingenious on how that might work. 3 weeks, I think we can manage it in the library even. Anywho, is there any further comment or debate on the motion, councillors? If you could please cast your vote on the motion, thank you. Someone hasn't voted. Someone changed their mind on how they're voting. Okay. That has been carried. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move on to urgent business, and I need a mover for the urgent business item, which is item 15.1. Hang on, we're moving to have the urgent matter dealt with, so can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Baynes and Councillor Dalton to second that. Councillor, if you cast your vote on hearing the original item, thank you. The original item, the urgent item, thank you. Okay, thank you, that has been carried. Now we move on to item 15.1, which is the agreements with the Public Transport Authority about the new park in Beckenham under the elevated rail line. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Good to move that. Deputy Mayor Williamson to second that. Councillor Good, would you like to speak to this item? Deputy Mayor Williamson, would anybody like to speak to this item? Councillors, if you could please cast your vote. Thank you.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button.
Shenanigans. Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. That item has been carried. Councillor